Hey guys, I'm Maroon6, a new Pokemon Go PvP YouTuber. I just actually was fortunate enough to go visit the SF State campus and go see PokeGators and Taco host and also Best in West and King IV host a huge tournament here in the Bay Area in San Francisco. Awesome tournament. It was great coming back to season 2 and then getting to see everybody that I competed with in season 1 from all around the Bay. Bunch of great people, Blast Jimmy, Smooth Fizzle, and many of all of you who have all faced. So I want to just quickly dive into it and give you my impressions of what I saw. One of the 4-way tie winners, Butters, who I've only heard legends of till this point, I've never gotten to see him battle in person, brought a Slowbro. And that's so awesome because, you know, people have thought Sinister, oh my gosh, it's all about the Marowak, it's all about the Poliwrath. And here's somebody who found a pick that can counter them. Like, Here's a pick that can counter Poliwrath. Here's a counter that can do in Marowak and Steelix and hold its own against the Steel tanks. Like, insane. As Ghost might be on the decline, here comes one that takes advantage of that lack of Ghost or forcing you to pick your Ghost that actually will still do a lot of damage. So it ran Water Gun, and here's a clip of me just doing it against Candela, just so you can see. But like, Water Gun with stab is kind of feels like Bite, where you're just taking unresisted stab damage. It is only, I think, 3 DPS, but with Slowbro being tanky, it'll out tank you and just dish out a lot of damage while also building up a decent amount of energy. So really amazing that like you get to see things as the month continues to evolve, and we just started here in the Sinister Cup. Let's break it down into the top 13 ranked players after this tournament, and looking at the picks. The picks that were used by more than half of the top 13, so most of these people are people who went 4 and 2 or above, are Poliwrath, which 11 out of 13 people used, Steelix, which 12 out of 13 people used, Alolan Marowak, which 11 people used, and Medicham, which 8 people used. Now, what's interesting about Poliwrath, Marowak, and Medicham is I saw different, when I was just walking around spectating and talking with all the competitors, I saw different variants of all 3 of those. Whether that be Fire Spin Marowak, or Mudshot Poliwrath, or Dynamic Punch, or Ice Punch, or Power Punch on Medicham, or Psychic. That's what's really interesting. I think that's really what is the hardest part to gauge about this cup in terms of people when you see their team as a 6. You don't truly know how the sims are going to work out because you don't know, because there's so many viable movesets. And I think that's one of the most special things about the Sinister Cup thus far. Other notables that are actually higher than I guess I would have predicted. Bastiodon is in 5 of the top 13 teams and generally on the higher ranking side of the players. And Bastiodon, I think why that shines so much is because it's so unique. It's so overly tanky and such a wall that it just, if it's caught in the correct matchups against a Ghost or against like a Marowak, and how much damage it can dish out with smackdowns and store up those either Stone Edge or Flamethrower to just wallop the next Pokemon is really unique. There's no other Pokemon that really kind of functions like that in the Steel class, because Steelix does rely on charge moves and Probopass does as well. So the fact that it can dish out that much damage without having to even try and worry about the opponent's shield count is very unique. And the other one, of course, is that Slowbro that I already talked about. And I only watched the one that Butters was using with the Water Gun, so I don't know if the other 2 that were used in the top 13 had Water Gun or Confusion. But again, it's unique coverage of being able to cover how many of those picks? It beats Medicham, it beats Marowak, it beats Steelix, and it beats Poliwrath in the specific situations. So that coverage of really what the top 13 people brought is really what made it king and caused the 4-way tie. I actually battled one of my good friends, Mushroom King, who I faced in regionals, I faced in some of the Berkeley Cups, all around the Bay, and we did some fun battles. One of the things that's really interesting about this series is how my Ghost actually came in such so key against him when I realized how important Medicham was in terms of him gauging the importance of my comp, because he had that Magnezone, which was a huge threat to potentially one-shot either Poliwrath, one-shot Marowak, one-shot, I don't know anything because, you know, I've only glanced at the Sims, but, you know, a Zap Cannon or Discharge is going to do a hefty amount of damage to anything that's not named Steelix. So being afraid of that and knowing that the Magnezone and the Medicham were going to be huge important factors of his team, my Ghosts actually came in huge. Specifically in this case, Dusclops, because of that Fire Punch. That Fire Punch was made it so I was able to worry a little bit less about his Steelix here in the lead, as well as be able to really threaten the Magnezone that happened to be in the back, as well as the Shadow Punch to take out the Medicham. So that specific Pokemon came in clutch specifically for this situation. But yeah, again, thank you, King, for, you know, talking with me during the break. We had a great talk about Sinister, and thanks for letting me plug, and thanks for letting me talk about my channel and my hopes and dreams for Season 2. And of course, again, shout out to Best in West and Taco for allowing me to jump on the stream. But yeah, I can't wait to keep making more content, guys. This has been a lot of fun, and it was great, again, seeing all of you competitors who I've seen from all around the Bay. And yeah, I think that's a wrap. So I'll catch you guys all again next time, and you know, I think I'll keep doing different breakdowns of tournament metas. I think that's kind of important, especially here in Sinister Cup, because the meta is so wide and so many different possibilities, except these picks that we found were especially popular in the top 13 players who played at this tournament. And who knew? Slowbro.